This is Fox 25 Morning News.
Thanksgiving, of course, means high school football in many towns across the state, but in Agawam, there may not be a football game this coming weekend. That is being decided by the superintendent, who says that a recent incident at the school last week during football practice is called hazing. The result, a number of players and coaches have been suspended, and the district must now decide if there will be a game at all. Now, this comes on the heels of a similar situation for the Needham girls soccer team. Joining us this morning to talk more about this from Bentley University is Professor of Psychology. This is Greg Hall. It's nice to see you this morning, sir.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
You guys have a very unique and interesting program there at Bentley. You are training some of your students to go out and talk to other people.
Yes, we are. We, with the recent spate of tragedies across the country, we've begun to work on changing the culture in communities. And we have a program called One Goal, One Community. And it is designed to have college and university students work with students from kindergarten right through high school on changing the culture about bullying, pledging to end bullying, engaging in a process of signing large banners, wearing wristbands, rejecting bullying, to really try to work on the culture. This comes on the heels of a change in law in Massachusetts last May, Chapter 92, on the anti-bullying legislation.
Well, it seems to me that it's a perfect match as well, because these young people that you have there at the university are not so far removed from a lot of these kids that they're talking to, so they can certainly relate to some of the issues that are going on.
They have far more credibility than you and I.
A little more street cred than we did,
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that they're telling these kids. I mean, what are they saying to them?
They are speaking from their own experiences, talking to them about the three different categories in the bullying. Two of them are rather obvious, the victim and the bully. But the third is less obvious, the bystander, or what we like to refer to as the enablers. And they talk about their experiences in school, in public schools, and they talk about the research they've done and what they've learned, and the cost of bullying on the emotional trauma of other students. So it's an educational process.
Sure. Professor, do you think that this has become an epidemic, or is this something that's been out there forever and we're just more aware of it now?
Well, it has been out there forever. However, there are significant differences today. In previous generations, actually up until about 10 or 15 years ago, bullying took place face-to-face, and it was limited to encounters in the schoolyard, in the lunchroom, on the bus maybe.
Sure.
But a student the victim of bullying, had these brief encounters. When they were home, they were safe. Today, with the cyberbullying, it is 24/7. There's no escape, and it goes viral. Not only, it's not an incident where 5 or 6 people look on and see what happened. It is a situation where the entire school community is aware of what happened, and that makes it much more significant.
Sure.
The second thing is that bullying in the past used to be a physical altercation. Today, it's much more an emotional altercation.
What do you suggest for parents who may think that either they have a child who is a bully, or they think their child is being bullied?
Yeah. I think that parents need to become more involved in terms of their connection with the schools, the teachers, the administrators. They also need to have proactive conversations with their children well before they may think that their child fits one of these three categories, the bully, the victim, or the enabler, and talk to them about the effects of bullying. We have found in the programs we've done so far that once kids really understand the toll that the bullying takes, many of them no longer want to be a participant or an observer in that kind of activity.
Right. I think that is so true. I know that I have an 8th grader, and they've had a lot of programs at his school, and I am amazed at his reaction. And he's a pretty sensitive kid, a guy who's not going to be, I think, a bully, but his reaction to seeing parents who have come in and talked about their kids being bullied and kids talking about it. Sort of changes the culture and the way kids feel about it.
Absolutely.
I think kids can suddenly step in somebody's shoes, maybe.
They develop an empathetic understanding for what bullying really is,
Yeah.
and without that knowledge, it's likely to continue despite the laws and despite the way in which we may lecture them.
Sure. Well, it's a whole new world out there for everybody, you know, for us as parents and for these young people who are just getting into this part of the world and learning more about it. So I think the program you have going there at Bentley is really fantastic. I hope you guys get out and see a lot of schools throughout the entire state.
Well, there's certainly a lot of interest in it, and I think with what's recently occurred in Needham and Agawam,
sure.
It just it tells us, it speaks to the fact that we need to do more proactively about changing the culture.
Professor Greg Holtz, very nice to meet you, sir.
Nice meeting you.
Continued success with your program.
Thank you very much.
All right, Gene, over to you.
All right, Kim, thank you. Still coming away in the Fox 25 morning.